Chicago Bears assistant GM Ian Cunningham has been voted as one of the best future GMs to watch in the entire NFL. Does that mean we could be seeing an end to the dynamic duo of him and Ryan Poles? We're going to talk a little bit about that. Plus, Chicago Bears get some not so favorable news on Keenan Allen's possible availability in the Week 1 matchup against the Tennessee Titans. And somebody picks the Chicago Bears to go 13-4 over the course of this season. But the player that they picked to be the reason why, it may shock some people. We're getting into all that and more right after this.
You are now tuned in to Chicago Bears Central, your number one place for all Chicago Bears news and content.
What's going on, Bears fans? Welcome to another episode of Chicago Bears Central, your number one spot for everything Chicago Bears related. I'm the host, Haize, but more importantly, you guys can follow the channel at Chi Bears Central on every social media platform we happen to be on. With that being said, let's go ahead and get into this content for today. So there is a poll done around the NFL. It was a survey done from around people and executives around the NFL, and Ian Cunningham received the most votes for future GM to watch for in that case. And hey, we'll see. He also was tied for third place with 5 votes in the category of which franchise had the best offseason. You know, that comes down to it. When you look at it, Ian Cunningham and what his job and the way him and Ryan Poles have operated is that while Ryan Poles has gotten the lion's share of the accolades and the acclaim for turning around the Chicago Bears, just because Ryan Poles is the front man, make no mistake about it, Ian Cunningham has been a part of this in crafting it as well. He really has his hands in scouting and things like that. So when you look at a lot of the young crop of talent that the Chicago Bears have accumulated over the 3 off seasons they've been running this team, Ian Cunningham has had a big role in it. And like I said, the GM is always going to get the most of the acclaim for it. That's just how it works. But one thing that could come down the pipeline and something that we have to look out for is that once the Bears start having success, one of the things that happens with having a successful team is other teams start picking at parts of your franchise. And Ian Cunningham could be the first one. If the Bears have the sustained success, let's hope it's not at the end of this year, right? I saw a writer write about it that the 2024 success for the Chicago Bears could mark the end of the duo between Ian Cunningham and Ryan Poles. And, you know, let's hope that it doesn't happen that soon, right? But either way, it does. You do have to start realizing that as the Bears are having success, as the Bears start winning, as the Bears hopefully start going on playoff runs, that, yeah, part of our executive staff, specifically Ian Cunningham, could be picked at. Same thing with the Bears coaching staff and the assistants that we have there. The Bears were able to assemble a really solid, above solid offensive staff with a lot of guys who have either been offensive coordinators or were rumored to be in contention to be offensive coordinators. So if this Bears offense this season looks as good as what many people are hoping the Chicago Bears offense is going to look like, make no mistake about it. We could talk about Ian Cunningham all day getting a future GM role, but also there are going to be people who are picking apart this offensive staff by the Chicago Bears and trying to get some of these assistants to Shane Waldron to come and be their offensive coordinator, especially if rookie Caleb Williams looks amazing as well. And, you know, with the Rome Odunze and the running back room and things like that. And God forbid Velus Jones ends up working out, because then teams are absolutely going to pick apart this offensive staff. So I think that that's just a byproduct of success when you look at it, and that's across all sports, right? When you look at any franchise that starts winning and putting together multiple winning seasons and things like that, or even just build solidly, other teams around those respective leagues start going after those pieces so that they can come help and save their franchise. So it really shouldn't be too big of a shock to anybody to hear that, you know, Ian Cunningham is starting to get those votes, starting to get that notice as a future GM because of the way that the Bears have operated, the way that they've turned everything we can say positively about Ryan Poles that we've said about turning around this team. Ian Cunningham has had a part in that. And regardless of how large a part of that or not is, because I'm not in those rooms, I'm not in those meetings, I can't say, is that teams are going to try to duplicate that success. And the way that the Bears, if they definitely have this success that people are having, this are hoping that the Bears are going to have the season with going on a playoff run, if the Bears get between 10 and 11 wins this season, and God forbid more than that, there are absolutely going to be people that look at it and say, hey, Ian Cunningham was in that room. He was in those meetings. He was in that war room to decide to draft these guys and sign these guys. We think that he can come over and bring some of that success over here to our franchise. So, you know, and Ian Cunningham as well has been somebody that I even can admit, I don't talk a lot about Ian Cunningham, right? I talk about Kevin Warren. I talk about Ryan Poles. I talk about Matt Eberflus. Hell, I even talk about probably Eric Washington and Shane Waldron more than Ian Cunningham. But it's just the reality of the game of football and the reality of sports and business in a way, right? It's not even just that. It's really business. When you look at how businesses grow and things like that, and they start going after some of the CEOs and executives from those businesses to come over to other places, that's just the way that businesses operate. And so Ian Cunningham could be the first major piece of the Chicago Bears team that we end up losing to a different franchise because of the success that the Bears have had. But let me know what you guys think on that down below. Do you think, are you worried? Do you think that, all right, we still got Ryan Poles, that's the most important thing? Or do you, like me, say, hey, I am sure that Ian Cunningham has been part and probably had a loud voice in a handful of decisions at the bare minimum, and missing that voice, and we'll see what we replace with. Ryan Poles is pretty good at having people around him, right? Like we've seen that, we've heard that. But Ian Cunningham, the potential of leaving the Chicago Bears, something to look out for. But let me know what you guys think on that down below. With that said, the Chicago Bears also have gotten bad news ahead of their Week 1 matchup, and that is Keenan Allen. Keenan Allen right now, who didn't get the best news that he could end up missing. It's not for sure that he'll be ready for Week 1 against the Tennessee Titans. Now, they aren't saying that he's going to absolutely miss time either, so I want to be clear on that. But, of course, we've been talking about that you want to go into the season as fully healthy as possible. That's what the Chicago Bears want to do, especially when you're starting out a new franchise, a new quarterback, all these new things. You want to make sure that you have your guys there that can help you perform. And so Keenan Allen is hopefully going to be a really big part of the Chicago Bears offense this year. And having guys like him that are down to start the season, it sucks. And it's not the way that you want to start. Now, I would say this. The depth of that wide receiver room, how deep it is, you think that, you hope that we're going to have enough to weather the storm. But make no mistake about it, Keenan Allen with his route running, Keenan Allen with being a veteran, Keenan Allen with seeing, everyone he's worked from with Justin Herbert to Phillip Rivers, right? He's seen a lot over the course of his NFL career, as well as being that big red zone target that I think that Keenan Allen is going to be for the Chicago Bears team this season. So there's a lot of that. We did get the first injury report for the Chicago Bears as well, and there's a handful of players on that list. And it sucks to see that already. Like Keenan Allen, of course, has a heel injury. That's what's potentially keeping him out in Week 1. Kieran Almagaje, quad, he's listed as limited as well. Ryan Bates, we already knew about Ryan Bates. Roshan Johnson with a toe injury, so at least it's not a concussion. And then you got Zach Pickens with a groin injury, and then Montez Sweat as well. He's listed with being limited as well, with some things going on with him physically. So another toe injury for Montez Sweat. So, hopefully this is just, beginning of the season things, taking a couple of days off practice, those type of things. But, for the fact of the matter is that we're trying to see the shiny new offense. And with Caleb Williams, this being his first start, having a veteran like Keenan Allen out there to go with another veteran in DJ Moore could be huge for Caleb Williams. And so, we'll end up seeing what happens with that. I wouldn't be surprised if Keenan Allen kind of pushes as much as he can to make sure he's going to be out there for his team. But ultimately, it's not just about this one game. It's about multiple games. And, that's what the Bears are going to be looking for, looking at as well as they try to evaluate what's going on with Keenan Allen, whether they're going to give him the go or sit him down. I'm sure they're going to try to look at, all right, if we start him, what's the risk of this becoming something more long term? Or if we go ahead and let him sit this one game, it's one of our deepest position groups. We let him sit this one game, heal up, and then we don't have to worry about it as long. So that's something that the Bears are going to definitely have to look out for. And it's, overall in this game against the Tennessee Titans, man, there's a lot to look out for. And one of the things in that is Caleb Williams being a rookie, right? And how he grows and develops over that time. And that's something with every rookie quarterback, right? I know some Bears fans have this unrealistic expectation that Caleb Williams isn't going to have a normal rookie season. And let's hope that he doesn't. Let's hope that Caleb Williams has a outstanding rookie season that we look at and say, hey, this was one of the best rookie seasons, not just for the Bears, because we've already talked about it. The bar is pretty low for a Bears rookie quarterback to have an amazing season. But overall in the game of football. But I think, every rookie, regardless of position, goes through their ups and downs and how they learn. And so Keenan Allen was somebody who was supposed to help Caleb Williams over that time. And, I mean, he's done so with that. And, we even got a quote from Keenan Allen on, what kind of pushes him, the difference between him and like a Justin Herbert, and Keenan Allen saying this, the confidence. Caleb has always been the guy. When we first had Herbert, he wasn't really a starter going into Week 1. So that's the difference. He's always been the guy. So he's always had the expectation of playing at the level we play at. He's ready for it. He's up for the task. His confidence is good. I wouldn't rather be with another guy right now than Caleb. He's gotten better ever since we started. The confidence is through the roof. And that coming from a veteran like Keenan Allen, who's seen a lot, who's been through a lot, who's been in the NFL for a really long time, that all sounds outstanding, right? And so, you want Keenan Allen out there because he can be that safety net for the team in a lot of ways. And like I said, that big target, you don't have to worry about his route running at all. And so hopefully Keenan Allen is going to be fully healthy and ready to go. And overall, everybody that we can possibly get fully healthy and ready to go by week 1, we want them out there. You should want this team to start off with their full complement of weapons so that we can then take a look at what we're going to do. And, we already have questions about the offensive line, right? That is a big question for the Chicago Bears team, and that is with everybody being healthy. We still have that question on how well that offensive line is going to stand up, both physically and in performance-wise. And so if you can eliminate that by having your weapons out there, that's what you want to have. So we'll see. Overall, I won't put the panic meter on it or anything quite yet, right? Like, these little injuries that we hear that could potentially keep somebody out in the first week, sometimes those just go away. Sometimes it's more speculation from the media, more so than internally from the Chicago Bears. But we'll see. I mean, as we get closer, football officially starts today. The NFL season kicks off tonight. So excited about that, guys. I can't wait to be watching actual football. It's so exciting just to get that. But we are a few days away from the Chicago Bears taking the field and us getting to see the Bears face off against the Tennessee Titans week 1. And let's see where the season starts off for the Bears. Last season started off with a disappointment against Green Bay. And so let's hope that we don't start off with another disappointing season. The Chicago Bears have not won a season opener, I don't think, since 2020. Maybe it was like 2000. Maybe it was a little bit before that. So we're hoping that those things can go away and that the Bears can get this win and get the season kicked off and started the right way. But in talking about this season, I got to talk about the next topic that we're going to get into. The Bears predictions, of course, are coming out, everything. Dan Pompei out The Athletic contacted 10 people across scouts and things about the team. And there was one specific person that came back. Now, he didn't release who this was, that predicted the Chicago Bears to have a 13-4 finish to the season, saying this. When asked to explain the optimism, he says he believes the Bears are a talented young team and that quarterback Caleb Williams is the real deal and wide receiver DJ Moore is a difference maker. He also said that they are scheduled to oppose only 2 quarterbacks who put full fear into defenses, C.J. Stroud of the Texans and Matthew Stafford of the Rams. He qualified his prediction by saying the Bears would be successful only with more effective interior pass rush, which will likely have to come down to second-year player Javon Dexter. Without more pressure from the tackles, the front office person says the Bears will win 9 or fewer games. So saying that the Bears, by how good their interior pass rush is, it could take him from going from 9 or fewer games to predicting the Chicago Bears to win 13 games. That's a 4-game swing. That's almost a third of your season. And so to look at that and say that the interior pass rush is that important to the Bears' success overall this season, I wish I could say it's something that I disagree with, but you got to go back to the words even from our head coach Matt Eberflus on this, right? Eberflus has talked about repeatedly how the pressure from the interior is one of the most important things in his defensive system. He said that. That ain't coming from me. That ain't coming from anybody else. That's coming right from the horse's mouth in Matt Eberflus. And so if your interior pass rush is so important to your system, absolutely we're going to be looking at saying if we can get that solid pass rush that people have questions about, maybe that does change a lot for you. And we already know we have Montez Sweat. We got Darrell Taylor. We got DeMarcus Walker. We got Austin Booker that we're expecting to give us something on that opposite side of Montez Sweat with the pass rush, but the interior. And I would go so far as to say it's not just about Javon Dexter. Yes, he's the starting 3 tech, and it matters a lot what he can bring to this team. Make no mistake about that. But as well as Chris Williams and Zach Pickens. Zach Pickens, who's on the injury report, right? How well do these guys keep up the pressure? And keep in mind, it's not just about getting the sack total. It's about how you're able to put pressure on the pass rush sometimes to make that uncomfortable and to give your secondary an opportunity to, not have to guard as long. And so it's that synergistic relationship between the pass rush and the pass coverage that we talk about a lot here at Chicago Bears Central. And overall, listen, let's hope that the Bears are going to bring it, man. And, Javon Dexter being one of those players that can go from being a rookie that didn't play a whole lot. He played, but it wasn't a whole lot. And to go from that to being maybe something that makes a difference for your team in this year, that's what you play the game for. And I'm sure Javon Dexter as much as it does bring some questions and stuff like that, hey, we got to see what's going to happen, man. And, overall, I think when it just comes down to it, this Bears team is starting to have expectations, and people are recognizing the talent that this team has. But not a goddamn thing is won on paper. And so you can have all the talent in the world, but if that talent does not come together, that's going to be where things go left for you. And so it's up to the coaching staff, it's up to the players, it's up to a lot of different moving pieces to get this team all on the right page so that we can have that success that we ultimately hope for. It's not just on Caleb Williams. It's not just on his shoulders. He's a big part of it, and he's going to get a fair share or disproportionate share of the acclaim or blame, depending on how the Bears win or lose. But it comes down to how all these moving pieces on this team end up working out. And overall, this Bears team it's starting to have expectations, not just from Bears fans, but from people around. And going into this game against the Tennessee Titans, man, we're hoping the Bears are going to have to put up some points on offense, right? We're going to have to be a lot better than what we were last season as far as scoring wise. And let's hope that ends up being the case in a case like that. Like, the Bears offense is going to have to be legit. We're going to have to put up points, but our defense is also going to have to control some things. And so we're hoping right now that you look at the Bears passing offense, right? 182 yards per game. We're going to need to be more than that. We're going to have more than that. And so let's hope that is the case in this time. Like, the Bears offense is going to have to be on point. We're going to have to be this is the makings of a really great offense. The Bears are going to have to be able to convert on first downs and win those battles of the trenches against the Titans, because the Titans are a team that invested heavily into their trenches this offseason. And so that's another thing. Also, look at the sacks allowed by the Bears last season. 50 sacks allowed last season by the Chicago Bears offense. We're hoping that we see a much better goal than that. We went over those bold predictions the last episode. One of those predictions was that the Bears allow for fewer than 33 sacks this season. I hope that that's right. I hope that that's the case, because that puts your offense in a much better place than what it's been the last few years. So overall, everything that comes down to this season, when you look at all the storylines, all the different players, everything that we're looking at, we're about to start seeing what this team looks like. And while I'm going to give this team credit and some benefit of the doubt, who they look like on week 1 should not be who they look like by week 5, right? Unless things are just going that great. But let's hope that it doesn't get worse, right? That's definitely something you don't want to see. You don't want to see your team get worse as you get further into the season. But I think overall, the expectations for this Bears team and where it sits right now are at an all-time high because of what we've seen. Hard Knocks plays a part into that, but it finally starts feeling like we have a team that Ryan Poles' imprint is completely on, right? As far as this is the vision that he has for the team. It's not done yet. I do think he wants to improve the trenches over the next couple of off seasons, but we're starting to see the bits and pieces of all of this stuff coming together. And then, of course, the storylines of who stays, who goes, right? This is an important season for Tevin Jenkins. Whether he's a Bear long-term or not, this is an important season for Tevin Jenkins, and Tevin is one of the players to look out for. Now, I know we're not going to be looking a whole lot at offensive linemen over the course of the game, right? But you watch Tevin Jenkins' development this season and to see if he can stay healthy, because when he's on the field, and this is something that I disagree. I actually had a conversation with my dad about the other day, and he was talking about my uncle. Like, some people doubt, for some reason, Tevin Jenkins when he's on the football field, and that's something that I have no worries about with Tevin, is that when he's on the football field, Tevin brings just about everything we could possibly want from Tevin Jenkins. The bigger question is, can he just stay on the field? Now, Nate Davis is part of both of that. Like, can you stay on the field, and then can you bring what we want? And then Darnell Wright. We got a lot of storylines. Rome Odunze, Darnell Wright, Austin Booker. I think Austin Booker is going to be motivated especially with whether he's starting or not. He's not going to be starting, but I think he was going to be motivated regardless, right? Is that Austin Booker is a player that is already ahead of schedule when you look at how much he was talked about, how raw he was. And you still saw some of that rawness over the course of the preseason, but he already looked like he added moves that he reportedly didn't have during the draft combine, and that's one of the reasons he fell in the draft. And so seeing all these things come together and all kind of meld and mesh into something is going to be a great thing. And so overall, I'm extremely excited about this season for the Chicago Bears, and I hope you guys stay along with us for the journey. We will be live on the channel as well tonight, so if you're on the podcast side, go and subscribe over to the YouTube. If you're on the YouTube, make sure you guys hit that subscribe button to see us when we're live. All of us will be doing our predictions, going game by game and predicting our win-loss record for the Chicago Bears season. So make sure you guys stay in tune with us on that one. But that's it for me for today. Make sure you guys are following the show at Shy Bears Central. You can send us any feedback, questions, comments, concerns, ChicagoBearsCentral@gmail.com. Lastly, if you want to leave a text message and our voicemail for the mailbag, the number to do so, 773-242-9336. We are the number one spot for everything Chicago Bears related, but that's thanks to you guys. And like I like to end everything on, Chi-Town up, but Bear down. Love you guys. Peace, y'all.
This has been a presentation of the Break Media.